original. Another sequel, Sleepaway Camp 4: The Survivor, directed by Jim Markovic, was primarily filmed in the early 1990s, but left incompleted. In 2002, the unfinished footage was released and made available on the earlier mentioned DVD box set. In 2012, the film was completed using archival footage from the first 3 films and released on DVD and Amazon Video on Demand. A 5th film, Return to Sleepaway Camp, was completed in 2003 and initially struggled to have its visual effects completed. Hiltzik returned as director, and Felissa Rose and Jonathan Tiersten returned as Angela and Ricky, respectively. According to Fangoria, the digital effects were redone from 2006 to 2008. The film was released in 2008, which is the only sequel you should bother watching. And even it's not great. The purportedly final film in the Sleepaway Camp series, titled Sleepaway Camp Reunion, was also announced to be in the works. Distribution had been arranged by Magnolia Pictures. Robert Hiltzik, who recovered the rights to the franchise, has stated that he would make the film if his budget was met. However, Hiltzik and Return to Sleepaway Camp producer Jeff Hayes later announced themselves as having started work on a reboot that would retain the key characters and elements from the original film, with additional storyline elements and a dose of modernizing. As of summer 2014, Hiltzik was reportedly tweaking the script. In addition, Michael Simpson, the director of 2 and 3, wrote a script for a further film called Sleepaway Camp Berserk. There was also a short film starring the original actress called Judy, which is on the Blu-ray, and I think it's also on YouTube. Don't bother. People directed me to it when I was mentioning it, and I watched it, and it looks like a home movie. It looks like children making a film, and it's about Judy being like a psychiatrist and kills people to help her patient or something. It's ridiculous. I watched half of it and walked away because it looks cheap and shitty. Finally, a documentary film on the series entitled Angela, the official Sleepaway Camp documentary, is currently in pre-production with Felissa Rose as executive producer. That's why there's not much information on the making of this film, because it hasn't been done. Of every horror film that has an official documentary, this film has not gotten one. So,
but still has a rabid fan base.
Ridiculously so. There are, in fact, conventions for this film.
So
that is a thing that happens.
With the weirdest movies.
Yeah. It's not strange that people love this movie.
No.
Man. This is the quintessential slasher film.
So we do begin and are quite assaulted by the opening credits.
The opening credits are just Sleepaway Camp. Like, oh, fuck, alright, I guess I'm watching a movie.
And again, unlike most 80s movies that has like a synth score, it's orchestral. It's dun, 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 dun. I'm like, whoa.
My guess is public domain.
As we sweep across a clearly fall background of trees.
Shut up, it's a summer.
Different colors.
The start of summer. Shut up.
With the orchestral in the background.
The leaves are churning from brown to green.
Yeah.
That happens, right?
With the credits and all that. And the score is good. It's just jarring because you're like, whoa, you're not expecting...
Especially because the main theme that is used repeatedly in this flick, which I used in the opening, is used more than this. And it is a synth poppy ballad.
Yeah.
So it's really odd.
So we cut the kids on a boat with their dad.
Yep.
And the kids they're plotting a scheme, and then they flip the boat, and the dad's like, oh, you little scamps.
Whippersnappers. Alright, we need to go, because, somebody calls towards them, we find out who that is later. He just goes hey, let's go get lunch or some such shit. And they're like, alright. And then they decide it's going to flip the boat. Then we cut to
some teens
who are carelessly water skiing in a boat.
Yeah.
And they're driving, and they're looking back at the water skier like, ha, you are not skiing well.
And she's terrified the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing this.
I don't want to do this. Why are you fuckwits making me do this?
Why are you doing it then? Why did you agree?
Then let go of the rope, you will fall in the water, and you are done skiing. And guess what? It won't hurt, because you're not going that fast.
No.
And then, because the movie needs a plot, the people, the father and the two kids, look over and see the boat coming, and the skier sees the boats going towards these people.
Turn the boat!
And even though they have
ample time,
plenty of time,
ample time,
somebody has plenty of time, i.e. the boat can turn, And there was point where she starts screaming like, "There's people! Like, look at the boat." They're looking directly ahead, so they definitely saw them before they turned back to go. What are you saying? They clearly saw these people. The kids in the water with the dad have plenty of time to just swim to the right or left or both. You could split up and go either way. You'll be fine. Frankly, the worst thing that's going to happen is the kids in the boat are going to go flying. You have plenty of time, but nobody does shit.
Nope.
And then the boat sort of, I guess, skids off of something, and we see a body, the father floating, and then you see one of the kids' life preservers float to the surface,
and the other kid swimming away.
And the other kid is swimming away, and clearly life is not good.
Yeah,
one of them is clearly dead.
So the dad and one of the kids are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to
the greatest scene in the fucking movie.
One of the most interesting characters in the film. Someone who clearly walked off a David Lynch set.
Yep.
It's like, why is this Twin Peaks character in this movie?
How did she not end up in Twin Peaks?
I don't know.
How did David Lynch not go, where's that girl?
Yeah. And she's like talking to herself.
Yeah. Like, oh. Did
I pack the lunch? Oh, I did.
I did. Did you bring a pack of any chips? I packed a whole bag. Wasn't that nice of me? And, oh, that won't do at all. No. Oh, there's something I forgot. Oh, right. I wrapped a string around my finger so I wouldn't forget. But what was it? Oh, I know. What in the fuck is this lady doing?
And, like, the two kids are just like, what the fuck, man?
And the worst part is that, like, Angela she doesn't speak, so she's just staring off into fucking
wide-eyed
space. And somehow, I don't care if this is your mother or not, Ricky's perfectly normal with this.
Yeah.
He's just like,
He's
oh,
like,
Mom. I'm like, no, fuck you. You would start going, Mom, why do you talk like this?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? At every turn.
She gets their physicals, like, I remember your physicals for camp.
And I got it.
I signed
because,
them.
Is she a doctor or a nurse? I can't remember which
doctor.
one. Is she a doctor? Okay, so she's a doctor. And she's like, I got it because I'm a doctor. And I'm like, why are we learning this?
And also, is that important?
It is because of the eventual twist ending. Because she
right,
says,
you're right.
Again, when you know the ending, you can see that there's a lot of hints. But one of the things she says is like, now don't tell anyone where you got this. Because, she has a faked physical for Angela. And don't tell anyone where you got it.
So we cut to Camp Arawak.
Mm-hmm.
Arawak.
Which actually, before we go on, does Ricky know?
No.
Because
I don't think so.
He implies that he knows that Angela's records are faked.
Yeah, he might know.
And he knows that they're faked, and he said, I'll never say anything.
Yeah, it's never really implied either way.
It's not. It's really weird. But then I also look at the fact of something that happens later on. Oh, we'll get there. You know what? I'll talk about that later.
We cut to the camp, and all the kids are running down the hill, and we get the crotchety old owner like, come on, kids, let's go.
Let's go. And we get the one caring camp counselor.
Susie?
The buff dude? No,
Ronnie.
Susie.
Yeah,
the buff
Ronnie.
dude who's just like, come on, guys, let's go. He's pretty cool. Then we get this shit.
We get the creepiest workers ever.
Well, not all of them are creepy. I really enjoy James Earl Jones' dad. I enjoyed him. He seems like a fun-loving dude.
Although he plays along with the clearly...
He doesn't... It almost seems like they think it's a joke, but I'm like, wait, no, it's not a fucking joke. Like, everyone seems to be perfectly fine. Okay, so what we're talking about. The fucking cook, alright? The main cook.
Head chef.
He's chewing on a fucking weed, which is creepy, and then he's sitting there going, look at that young, fresh chicken. And that's when fucking Ben turns to him and just goes, they're too young to know what's on your mind. And I'm like, why is this on his mind?
Also, you're okay with that being on his mind?
And then he says, we, plural, used to call them baldies. Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
He wants to fuck kids.
Mm-hmm.
And this implies that he's done it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to.
Nope.
Ugh.
So we cut to the kids.
Yep.
Ricky, who's going to talk to his last summer crush, Judy.
Well, because his buddy comes up. Paul shows up. He's like, hey, wait till you see Judy. And he's like, and he's like, oh, this is Angela. Hi, Angela. Nice to meet you. And he's like, wait till you see, like, which I'm like, this is only kids can get away with this. Where he just turns around and goes, in front of the girl cousin, wait till you see Judy. I mean, come on. And he's fucking, like, showing that she's got giant tits now. And I'm like, grown-ups would never do that. Ever.
No.
Well, we do know some people who would do that, and they're douchebags. But anyway, what was I going to say? Fuck, I completely lost my train of thought. I was going to say something before we moved on.
I don't know. Well, he was going to go talk to Judy.
Yeah, he wants to go talk to...
And
because he tells her...
And now that she's got pubes.
Because Judy used to be his steady girlfriend. He tells Angela
from
that.
last
That's
summer.
What I wanted to say. Yeah. Oh, did you already say that?
Yeah.
All right.
From last summer.
I'm not listening
so she's talking to the older boys, and they're obviously talking to her because of pubes.
Well, he does too. Like, it starts out where at least she doesn't ignore him, because he's like, hey Judy, and she sort of goes, hi, and then goes back to the older boys.
And then he's like, but hello, like...
yeah, and then eventually walks over, like, hey, what the fuck? And it's like, who are those guys? Like, whatever. She's just like, like, they're older. Like, why are you talking to them? She's like, don't you know that girls mature faster than boys? And then we get Ricky being Ricky immediately. Just fucking no care in the world of like, that's bullshit and you know it. I'm like, oh, this is Ricky. Okay.
Cut to the girls' cabin. We meet the girl counselors, Meg and Susie. Susie's the nice one. Meg's a bitch.
Meg should have been fired so much.
Like 6 times.
But then we find out why.
Yeah.
This movie, surprisingly,
ties
as
together.
Dopey as it is, ties together insanely well.
Yeah. And so Meg's just a bitch, and her and Judy are like besties, and they both...
Which I'm like, aren't you like 18? Why do you give a fuck what the 13-year-old thinks about you?
And then we see Angela cross-legged on her bed.
Just staring wide-eyed at Judy.
Yeah, and she's like, what the fuck's your problem?
Which...
She's fair.
The only time I'll get on Judy's, I'm like, she's absolutely right. Why is she fucking staring at you?
Because it's not like there's no eye contact, there's no blink. I mean,
like no blinking, no nothing, just straight like dead-eyed, like look at you.
And then we find out Angela hasn't been eating.
Yeah.
They've been there for 3 days.
Because it's a full summer camp, and it goes like, I think it's midsummer when shit finally fully goes down. So time passes fairly quickly. So yeah, there's like, they've noticed that somebody walks up, the nice Roddy, is that his name?
Yeah, let me find you something in the kitchen.
Come on, let's go find something for you to eat, because you haven't eaten since you've been here. So they take her to the kitchen and leave her in the care of
Art.
Captain Baldy himself, the fucking cook. And yeah, it goes exactly as you would expect. He fucking... And it's not even...
takes her, brings
it's so
her to
blatant.
the back.
He brings her to the back and it's just like, I'll find you something or whatever. And then he's just like, oh, you don't talk, huh? Well, I got something you're gonna like. And he just starts unbuttoning his belt. And I hate everything about this scene.
Yep.
There's nothing funny here. This is gross.
Ricky
literally goes, well, where the fuck is Angela? And then he runs into the kitchen and then just goes, what the fuck are you doing? Legitimate question.
Yeah.
And then the cook fucking slams him up against the wall and says, don't you say nothing, blah, blah, blah. And Ricky agrees.
Yep.
Which is the most un-Ricky thing on the planet.
Well, I mean, he's smart enough to just like, he's much bigger than we are. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah. So
we promise we won't say anything.
He never did say anything.
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I'm telling everybody. I'm literally getting up on a table being like, the cook tried to fuck my cousin.
Well, listen, he comes out. They
come running out.
And Ronnie and Mel, the owner, everyone's
are just
there.
looking around.
And he's still So they know, and they give him this look like, oh, God.
Yeah, like Mel gives him a look of like, fuck, here we go. And Ben should have clearly knew shit was up.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to say shit. And I'm like, what the fuck, people? So I understand this was the 80s and nobody really talked about this shit then, but ew.
So we have a giant pot. And I mean, fucking
big, fucking stupid pot.
Like a human-sized pot.
It's about 3 feet tall.
And Art is salting it, and he's going to put corn in it for the kids to eat, for lunch or whatever.
I got to tell you, this made me want corn on the cob so fucking badly.
So he's on a clearly unstable chair. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if you're a really big dude, and you're like teetering over a boiling, giant human-sized pot of water.
Yeah, you may want to find other ways of this.
and then we get the killer's point of view, and it will be the killer's point of view for most of the kills in this movie.
Yeah,
it's a POV shot.
It's like a lot of another film that I kind of almost picked instead of this. It was kind of like another film called Student Bodies.